My family is filled with sadness, rage, and craziness. It's always uncomfortable to be around them. My sisters and I were so close. This past year, things have changed. I can't have a conversation with Maria. When I do hear from her, she's yelling. Maria's always been really physical and very angry. It'll start with yelling and screaming, and then you'll hear stomping. Maria's always been physical towards me, my siblings, my mom, and sometimes my dad too. I talk to Liz a lot. I'll be like, hey Liz, how's Maria doing? And she'll be like, really bad. Liz is in a really bad spot right now. Every time I see her, she looks like a sad ghost. You can just see the pain in her eyes. She doesn't dress nice anymore. She used to put on makeup and now she doesn't. She's just really depressed. It breaks my heart to see the way everything has come crashing down. Living in that house with all that bad energy was really toxic for me. I had an option to get out, so I moved out about 6 months ago. I feel bad that I moved out and they're still there. They just don't have the motivation. It's a lot easier to focus on myself when I'm not surrounded by all of the chaotic stress. I feel bad, but I gotta work on myself. I have to.
Older sister Antonia says it's hard for her to participate today because it brings up a lot of bad memories, but she wants to be a leading voice in helping her siblings get out like she did. So joining us on the phone is the Quadruplets' older sister, Antonia. You're out of it and away. What do you have to add to this conversation?
So, I mean, from the very beginning, I've made it very clear that I want one thing out of this. And the one thing I want is to be able to make sure that my siblings are going to get help. As long as they get help, that's all I want at this point. I haven't been in the situation for 4 years. Where you live and where you put yourself, that's your first thing, right? That's where you have to wake up every day, and that's where your mindset starts. And you can't shift your mindset if you're constantly waking up in the same, like, not to be too blunt about this, but like pit of trash, basically. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a pit of trash physically, but you feel like you're in one. And I think most important thing, just getting them in a place where they're able to grow.
I just asked Maria if she felt like she was equipped to live on her own, to even start the most fundamental life in getting a job, having a place, living on her own as an adult. And she said, no, I have mental health issues. I need to get those squared away. And she says, no, she's not ready to do that. How did you do that?
So this is a great question. I've been through a lot. I went through an eating disorder when I was younger. I went through anxiety, went through depression. I went through a lot in pain. Like I could go through the whole story. It has to start with where you put yourself. Because I didn't start feeling like I was even able to get out of bed and be 100% happy until I left home.
And you believe that Tom is toxic to yourself and to your siblings as far as developing as an individual?
My father and I had a very difficult relationship when I was growing up. There's no argument to that. I had a very difficult relationship with my father. I think at some point it's a different situation. I was in a different place, and I was also the first one, so I think I was held to a different standard. I think there's a lot of that. I do think that where they're at right now I think it's a very toxic environment.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.